Well, hey there, and welcome to Tuesday's Mojo mentoring. Here's how it's going to work. Would love for those of you showing up live to say hi. Those of you who are on the replay, it would be great for you to say hi as well and put in the question that you have to ask me today about your purpose-driven business or your quest to start a purpose-driven business. I have questions that have come in over the week that people wanted to know about, what they've emailed me or they've come up in the webinars I've been doing this week. So I'm going to go through those in just a moment, but I would love to know your questions, and here's why you want to ask them, and here's how to ask the question. You want to ask the question because here's the deal. If you're not getting 100% of what it is that you want in your business right now or towards starting up, then you're not focusing on the right thing. So you've got to ask some questions so that you get refocused on the right thing to get the results that you're looking for. How you want to ask the question? You want to ask the question this way. Think about what would make the biggest difference for you right now in your business or in your startup. If you're looking to start one up, figuring out the idea, what would be the biggest, if you were to know something, what would make the biggest difference for you? That's the question that you want to ask. So here are some of the questions I'm going to be going over. I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk about the relationship between alignment and manifestation and why that's really important. I'm going to answer this question that I got asked in an email. How do I build sustainable income online? That's a really cool question, so I'm looking forward to answering that one. How do I find my soul purpose? And I teach that a lot in my emails, so that's interesting. I'm still getting that one. How can I build a business on the side of my job? I'm going to be answering that question, as well as how do I build a brand that represents my mission and inspires people to work with me. Ooh, that's pretty cool. And then the other question is it too late for me to build a business online with the coming recession? And this was actually a question that I got asked earlier this morning on the webinar. So for those of you who are here and your question didn't get represented there, please ask away in the chat box. I'm going to log in after I've answered these questions to have a look and see what other people have said and answer them. But let's talk about the relationship between alignment and manifestation and why it's so important. So manifestation is your ability to create what you want. You have an idea, you go and you do some stuff, you think some stuff, you have the right energy, and then it becomes your reality. That's what manifestation is, right? So most stuff out online taught about manifestation is to think positively, have a good vibration, and then take the right action. But what's missing in that equation is that if you're setting a goal that's not aligned to your soul's blueprint, it's not really your goal. You think it's your goal, but it's more society's pressure, or your family have expectations, or you think that's what's expected of you. Then what happens is you've got this goal, but the template for what's supposed to happen for you and the best path for you to have a happy life and a prosperous business is here. So what happens as you move forward is this starts to get really unstable, this goal that you've adopted that isn't your own. And I've actually had this experience several times. And what happens is it shakes and it gets shaken as well. And this template then really starts to shake things up. So now you've got two things that are shaking, and how that looks in your business is not getting enough sales. Doesn't matter what you do, what effort you put in, you're going around in circles and you're not making enough money. Or you were making money, everything was really successful, and then all of a sudden it starts getting unstable and you start losing clients, or you start doing discovery calls and nobody signs up, or you're putting a lot of effort into social media and you're not getting engagement. And the reason for that is that universe is feeding back to you what you need to be focusing on, what you really need to look at, and it's trying to get your attention. So all of the results that we don't want in life are always trying to get our attention to getting further into an alignment, getting into that kind of alignment where the goal that you want and what you're going after and the soul's template are in alignment. So now you've got momentum and you can move forward. So you're in alignment when everything is working well for you, when you're getting flow, when opportunities are coming your way, when you feel like you're making progress, when you're happy and you're passionate. It doesn't necessarily mean that when bad things are happening, you're not in alignment in terms of your general direction, but it does mean something's out of alignment somewhere. So you want to go through my purpose to profit formula that most of you should all have right now. If you don't have it, you want to go download that at purposetoprofit.co. It's free. And you go through that formula and you go, okay, where am I out of alignment? Because as soon as you get into that alignment, the manifestation is so much easier because everything is in agreement, right? Everything agrees. And so you make that, movement forward. I'm having a little bit of a stutter here today. For those of you who are new and you're joining me, love for you to say hi and ask your questions. I'm now going to go through the questions that I've already been asked. And as I go through the comments section, I will then answer the new questions that they're coming in. And if you're watching the replay again, be sure to put your questions in and then tag at Nicola Grace, so that pops up in my notifications and I can come back to you and answer that. Or I might even make a dedicated video if I think the topic's juicy enough. So one of the questions, how many questions have I got here today? I've got 6. And the first one is, how do I build sustainable income online? And there are so many people that are wanting to derive income online, and I get it. I understand it. I've been in online marketing for 22 years, so I've seen the trends come and go. And we're talking about alignment and manifestation. So how do you build a sustainable income online? Well, the first thing is you've got to be in alignment with what you're offering is part of your purpose. And that way people will get your authenticity and that you're a good person to buy from. It doesn't work so much anymore, especially in helping professions. If you're going out to sell something, to sell a service or a product just to make money, or just because you think you can make money from it, we're not in that time anymore. Things have dramatically changed. And purpose, if you've seen my webinars, if you've seen my videos that I put out, purpose is the number one reason why people will buy from you. They'll have a greater purpose to buy from you rather than somebody else. So if you're not authentic and you're not in alignment with that purpose, then you're in a tremendous sea of competition for people's dollar online. So that's the first step. You've got to get into alignment. And building sustainable online income means you have a funnel. How are you going to, you have a funnel, and then you go out and you generate leads through a marketing plan. So sustainability comes from alignment, a funnel, and a marketing plan. So a lot of people spend a lot of time in building their social media platforms or building their funnel, but then they don't spend the same amount of time, if not more, which is what you need to do, on building the automated marketing plan so that you've got leads coming through the funnel to then generate the income. And today people need to know, like, and trust you. So it's really important for sustainability that you're building in likability, letting people get to know you, what you're all about, what your values are, and then the monetization of it, which is the other part of it. Make sure that you are monetized in such a way that you are that you're offering the right thing to the right people at the right price. And I've got a new course coming out, which I'm going to drop a link at the moment. It's an introduction course, totally free, that you can go to, which starts walking you through some of these steps. The next one is, how do I find my soul purpose? So here's the deal. If you've never done my work before, I make a distinction between soul purpose and life purpose. Soul purpose is, everybody's got the exact same soul purpose. The soul is here to expand and evolve. The specifics on how you expand and evolve are your life purpose. So you really want to be asking the question, how do I expand and evolve so I'm fulfilling my life purpose? So that's the step one on how to actually find your soul purpose, right? Is look for the details of your life purpose. And then the next question you want to start asking is, what's the best direction for me to express myself to get that expansion? So those are the first two things that you want to do. The biggest thing is, though, is that people people believe that they can figure it out in their head. And if that were true, you would have done it by now. Because we're talking about a spiritual, ethereal, very general topic of purpose, how you discover things is you've got to go on the journey of self-discovery and of soul searching. And most people need a process. I needed a process, somebody to help me. So that's number 3. You want to start looking for the right processes, doing the self-discovery work, learning as much about yourself and your values, because they all make up your purpose. So, excuse me. So here we go with the next question. I'm rocking through them today. How can I build a business on the side of my job? Oh, this is a really cool one. This one came in through a webinar. This question came in through a webinar this week, which I thought was really good. So it's exactly the same as if you were building a business that's not part of your job. If you're building a business even though you don't have a job, exactly the same. You have to figure out what your business idea is and your business model. And a lot of you have taken my 5-day challenge. If you haven't, again, the link for that is below, and it'll walk you through the steps on how you do that, so that you've got to start with a business idea. Because a lot of people think, I want to be a coach, let me go out and do a course and then go pay for one-on-one coaching, and then they struggle to make money because you didn't put a business model in place and you didn't align what it is you were offering with your purpose. Because your purpose might not actually be your expressions, rather might not actually be coaching. They might be teaching or speaking or something else. So you have to lead with that, with coaching as a part of the business, but it's not the core of the business model. So what you want to do if you've got a job is take the time to do the self-discovery work, take the time to build the business model, the monetization, get the marketing plan in place, and then you have a transition so that you can have a look at how you can eventually transition out of your job into the business. You don't want to make that jump, especially because we are heading for a global recession by, all accounts and all economists, predictions, because of what's going on in the property market and in the money markets and so on and so forth. All the indicators are there. So you want a transition strategy. And the other thing is to look at managing your time and managing your time with energy. So if you've got a job and you're working 40 hours or even more, you want to start a business, you want to have a look at doing, putting aside some time on your weekends and some time in the evenings before you get tired to doing all of this self-discovery work, doing all of this planning work. And then the transition could possibly be something that you could do in the weekends until you build the income. So, whereby you can leave your job. And if you're too tired, that's where the energy comes in. Do your green smoothie in the day, take some spirulina midday, do exercise after work. All of those things can help you re-energize yourself for the evening, so you don't just come home from work and then flop out in front of the TV or you can't move. And you just discipline yourself to do those 3 things. Green smoothie in the morning. You can Google green smoothies. Take some spirulina or some energy boosters in the middle of the day that aren't synthetic. They're genuine supplements to help you with that. I love spirulina because it's a food source of energy. And then after work, do some form of exercise for at least 15 minutes so the endorphins kick in and you get that new surge of energy that really allows you to do some work in the evening on putting a business together. And take a shower so it kind of feels like you're all starting your day, and then do an hour's worth of work or 2 hours worth of work. And that's just the way it's done. You might have to do some sacrificing of your weekends. Always take Sunday off, I believe, or Saturday if that's part of your religious following. You don't want to jam your weekend up, but you want to apportion a couple of hours over the weekend for that as well. Otherwise, you'll always be in that catch-22 situation with wanting to leave your job but not having an income in the business to go to. There needs to be some kind of a transition there. For those of you just joining again, if you've got any questions you want to ask me about getting your purpose-driven business up and running and into profit, go ahead and ask and I'll answer them at the end. I've got 2 more questions that were already given to me that I'm answering, and then I'm going to look at the new ones that have come through in the comment section to see what we've got there. This is a good one. How do I build a brand? So this is somebody who's already on purpose. Excuse me. How do I build a brand that represents my mission and inspires people to work with me? Super cool question. And again, we're talking about alignment today. It comes back to aligning at every level. And I think what you want to do is you want to start with your core values, because your core values are going to be really key in attracting the right type of people towards you who share those values. And then, getting your purpose in place. But the biggest thing about a brand is that it's got to represent the offering and the hope and the opportunity of what you're offering, as opposed to you expressing yourself the way you want to express yourself. So your business brand is not your bedroom where you get to throw a scarf up or put your boombox in the corner with the latest, speakers for your toys that you really like to have in the bedroom, or a salt lamp in the back, or candles. It's like your business is not your bedroom where you get to decorate it how you want. Your business is your face of people are deciding whether or not they're going to work with you or buy your products and services or come to your programs. So you want to make sure that it's representative of the hope and the opportunity that you're offering them. So you've got to get out of your mind and thinking that you're decorating your bedroom and putting it over here, and putting your mind over here in your prospect's mind to look at what it is they would be attracted to and why they would be attracted to you. And then that becomes your brand, right? So I'll give you an example of somebody who came to me to do some branding and positioning work and put their new website together, and what they had wasn't working. They had a real cursive writing, and they had a few splashes of pink here and there, not a lot of pink, but their niche was wanting to really tailor themselves to men. And pink isn't a really good way to tailor your website to men. And cursive writing is definitely not a way to tailor to a male audience. But she really was attached to she loved the cursive writing. She loved the color. And I'm like, well, it's not about what you love in your brand. I mean, obviously, you've got to find a brand that you really like and how it's represented. You need to like it. But it isn't about you liking it at the expense of your target audience disconnecting from it and not really getting the connection of you being the person that can serve them. There needs to be a thought into who these people are. So if you look at all of my branding, my logos, my fonts that I use on my blog and in all my banners and all of the social media that I put out, I use a couple of fonts that they're neither masculine nor feminine. They're slightly androgynous. If you look at it from a woman's perspective, you can feel that there's form and flow in there. And if you look at it from a male's perspective, you can see the clarity and the straight down the line lines in the font. Now, I've chosen those fonts really specifically because I have a desire to work with men and women, right? If you're just working with women, yes, you can get a bit more creative. If you're working with men, you want to be more sort of mechanical in your approach to your branding. But if you want that brand that represents your mission and inspires people to work with you, then alignment, get into their head on their values, and then have the colors and the fonts and the way you put your branding together and all your imagery together and your messaging together be that something that's going to connect with them, not something that's you decorating your bedroom. Does that make sense? No more decorating your bedroom and your brand, please, because I want you out there serving people and making an impact. It's super important that we are about that today. So the final question I've got here from people that contacted me before today is it too late for me to build a business online with the coming recession? Really, really important. And I know I've been putting out quite a lot of emails on the coming recession and what to do to prepare for it. So I'll answer that question. Then I'm going to go over to the Facebook page and see other questions that have got coming in. So those of you who've just joined us, if you've got questions about your purpose-driven business, a question that if you got answered, or something if you knew right now could get you over a current challenge and move you forward in this next month in a really powerful way, what is that question? Ask it now before I sign out for the day. So 2 things to this question here that I've got. Is it too late for me to build a business online with the coming recession? So implicit in that question is the recession imminent? Now, we never ever know this because, as you know, you've been following me, you've been following my emails. I believe recessions aren't natural. I believe they're 100% manipulated. I know this for a fact because I used to work in the money markets where it starts to get manipulated. And then the media hypes it up, and then people go into fear and they contract and they draw their money out, which makes the whole thing implode and crash. That doesn't have to happen. But given that I don't control things at that level, and you and I don't control things at that level, it's controlled, somewhere else. All indications are that by the end of this year, going into 2020, because of certain things that are happening in the property market, the money markets, there's also interest rates, what's going on with interest rates, and also the job layoffs are starting to affect the wider community around robots replacing, good jobs, and AI replacing jobs and what have you. Those early warning signs are there. So the patterns are there. So I know in America at the moment, there's huge talk going on about how great the economy is doing. But you have to remember, all governments measure the economy by how well the wealthy are doing. They're not measuring it by how much extra income the working class or the middle class has. It's like money markets, how much money is being invested, how many people are, borrowing money so that they can build and grow their businesses, and how much money is flowing through pensions, flowing through investments. So that's all stuff that, wealthy people are doing. And many of the markers are about the wealth. So when we hear the economy is doing great, we're hearing the wealthy people are doing great. And when you peer back those employment figures of, we've got, more jobs than ever, you actually see that it's not actually 100% accurate. And I know this from traveling America. Just recently I was in Asheville, and everybody that I was talking to was really cutting it hard. The taxi driver was finding that there wasn't so many people coming on board, so it wasn't getting as much work. Really struggling financially. So, don't be sort of rused with the razzle dazzle of this government talk, because during times of recession, your pensions do get lost. People lose money. They lose houses. We don't want that happening. We want to focus on the growth areas. So to answer the question about, is it too late for me to build a business online with the coming recession? I say it's never too late to build a business. During recessionary times, more people go online to try and start a business because they can't find jobs. So the time is now. If you're in startup, the time is now. If you're in business, the time is now to really drive it to more leverage so that you're in a really good position to be there when everybody starts flooding the market and you're up and running and you've got your wings and you're flying, because it'll be so much easier for you when you do. The other aspect to this question, is it too late for me, was that this person that asked me is a pensioner. And a lot of pensioners are waking up to the fact that, one, they've got more to give and more energy and they don't want to retire. And number two, they can't retire because of various recessions that we've had over the previous decades has really dwindled their pile of money, and they're living longer. So, they need to have a side job to just bring in, that little bit extra money. So I say it doesn't matter what's going on with the economy. It's never too late to start a business. You just want to do it smartly. You want to get the business model together first, which is what I help you with in Purpose to Profit formula here. And also start the monetization process and then the transition strategy. So it's never, ever, ever too late. So I am now those are the questions. So for those of you who have just joined us, I'm just going to go over the questions I've already asked. We talked about the relationship between alignment and manifestation. How do I build sustainable income online? How do I find my soul purpose? How can I build a business on the side of my job? And then how do I build a brand that represents my mission and inspires people to work with me? And is it too late for me to build a business online with the coming recession? Those are the questions that I've asked so far in this Mojo mentoring. I'm just going to hop on over. If you're watching now and you haven't asked a question, now's the time to pop it in. Otherwise, I'm going to head off for the day. What am I doing? I thought I had this up. Just don't want to get feedback on the video. So has anybody posted any questions since we've been here? Nobody's got any questions. Okay, great. Shy, you should make the most of this. Like, seriously, especially those who are watching the replay, it's not too late to ask questions because I can do it. I can do the answers live in the next live session that we have next Tuesday, or I can answer it then and there in the comment section. But the questions are really there for you to be very powerful in the next month and moving forward on discovering your purpose, getting it monetized, creating a business, or if you're already on purpose, scaling that purpose, stepping up into a higher purpose to make higher impact and greater income. Those are my specialties. And then we want you moving forward really powerfully, from my perspective, for two reasons. We need to be really powerfully in place so that we can make sure that the impact we're making is being made to create the world that we need to be moving into, so we have a better world to pass on to our further generations. And your purpose, that was my door slamming, sorry about that. Your purpose is your recession-proof idea of moving forward to make sure that you're going to be taken care of. You're also in your fulfillment, but it's your contribution to the world and creating that new world. So that's number one, why it's really important. Number two, it's also really important to have a business, whether you have a job or not, so that you are in charge of your income and you have power and control over how much money you earn, especially during recessionary times, or when people are holding back on spending. We need you, being able to be in charge of that, so that you don't get these surprises one day and all of a sudden you're having to do something from scratch in redundancy, rather than in a powerful position where you still have an income coming in. So no other questions for today. So I'm going to leave it from here. Thank you so much for those of you who've stayed from the beginning all the way to the end. And again, replay guys, ask your questions and tag me, and I will get answers for you. And if it's a really juicy question, I might actually make a video all on its lonesome to answer that. So thanks so much for listening. Bye from me for now. Bye-bye.